Hey everyone, it's me, Tim from 40 Times Around. Today we're going to talk about the new tent I've been using over the last 4 months. It's the Nemo Hornet UL2. It is a super lightweight, very packable tent. And I'm super excited to tell you guys all about it. Stick around. So like I said, I've been using this tent for about 4 months, camping probably about 80% of the time. 80 to 90% of that time. I have used this thing in all manner of weather and conditions, and I've really just had a lot of time with it to get to know all the ins and outs of this tent. There's a lot of things I really love about it, a few things I'm not crazy about, but this is a pretty awesome tent if you're looking for something ultra lightweight for motorcycle camping. For most of you guys, it's probably overkill. I don't think you need to be this lightweight. I've been trying to shed weight this summer, and this was one of the items that I was able to cut my tent weight in half, switching from the Kelty TN2 to this tent here. Now, the Kelty is an awesome tent. I had that one for about 4 years. I still highly recommend it. It is a very affordable, very durable, easy to set up. It's an awesome motorcycle camping tent. This thing is a little bit of a step above it, but I still highly recommend the Kelty. So before I show you how this tent gets put together, I'm going to go over a few of the stats and features real quick. Right out of the gate, this is not a cheap tent. It's going for $370 on Amazon right now. Like I said, it is a 2-person tent, but that really means 1 plus some gear. And there is a vestibule for a little extra gear. You could get away with 2 people, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it unless you are very close with that person. It is a 3-season tent. It is super lightweight, coming in at 1 pound 15 ounces or 878 grams. Packed weight 2 pounds 6 ounces or just over 1 kilogram. I mean, you're not going to find any tent any lighter than that. As far as pack size, it is 20 by 6 inches, although you can take the poles out and store them separately and get it much smaller than that. Peak height on this tent is 39 inches, so you're certainly not standing up in it, but it is enough to get dressed and changed in, or read a book and sit up if you happen to get stuck in it in the rain. The floor area is 27.5 square feet or 2.6 square meters. That would make the dimensions 85 by 51 and 43, or 215 by 130 or 108 centimeters. Per side, the vestibule is coming in at 7 cubic feet, giving you a total extra storage space of 14 cubic feet. The frame is made of an aluminum DAC Featherlight pole system, and the fly fabric is a 10D nylon ripstop. I decided to add the footprint, which added about $40 and an extra 7 ounces. So let me go ahead and show you how this tent sets up, and then I'll give my opinion on it. So that's it for the setup process. Like I said, it's very easy. I'm going to give you my 5-point review on this tent, covering comfort and livability, ease of setup, pack size, durability and weather resistance, and overall value. Let's go ahead and start with comfort and livability. This is not quite as spacious as the Kelty was, and I am going to be mostly comparing it to the Kelty because those are the two tents I have the most experience with recently. It is comfortable enough for one person to be in here stuck in a rainstorm, reading a book, lounging around, and it's not terribly tight for one person, even considering I have a lot of gear in there with me. I don't really use too much in the vestibules. I don't put my boots out there. They come in the tent with me. And even still, it's plenty of space for my air mattress, my sleeping bag, a row of gear next to me, and pretty much anything I need. I've even done some work on my laptop in there and been comfortable. It's certainly not a huge cabin style, stand up and walk around in it kind of tent. It's pretty minimal, but it's not a bivvy either. It's, you got plenty of space in there to sit up straight. For me, it's just, place to sleep and maybe get a little bit of work done, hide out from the bugs or the rain or the weather. As far as ease of setup, number one thing right out of the gate that I am not crazy about with this tent, and this was a bit of a compromise for me, is that I'm not a fan of having a tent that isn't completely freestanding, and this is only semi-freestanding. Like I said, you do need at least 2 stakes on the corners to stretch out that floor and give you the full space. Now, if you absolutely can't get a stake in the ground, you can still use it without it, but you're sacrificing quite a bit of space in that situation. So this is a major flaw for me, but that's how they get the size and the weight down by not having a 4-cornered freestanding setup. It's not the end of the world, and I have not had a situation yet where I couldn't either get a stake in the ground or find a rock or a log or something to tie around the loops to get the tent stretched out. So not the end of the world. It is a little bit of an inconvenience in my opinion, but when you trade off that feature versus the weight, it's really I think worthwhile. And that kind of brings us to the next talking point, which is pack size. Obviously, as far as a tent goes, you're not getting much smaller or lighter than this tent. The pack size is absurd. It's about less than half the pack size of my Kelty, and the weight, like I said, is about half, maybe a little bit less. So pack size, you're not going to get anything any better than this. Now, we are on motorcycles, of course. We do have the luxury of carrying more weight, but I'm traveling with a laptop and cameras and a drone and a whole bunch of heavy stuff that most people wouldn't necessarily be traveling with, so weight wouldn't be quite the same issue that it is for me. I also do a lot of pretty aggressive off-road, dirt road, gravel road, and I don't like my bike to be super, super heavy in those situations. So I look to shed weight where I can, and this was an awesome opportunity. As far as durability and weather resistance, it is a lightweight tent, meaning it could tear fairly easily, but it's not gonna just fail because of daily use. I just wouldn't set it up near thorns. Make sure you're using a ground cloth or a footprint, and you should be fine. The zippers feel durable enough. I haven't had any issues with those sticking or snagging or anything like that. Nothing's tearing on it, setting it up and tearing it down countless times. So as far as durability, it is not the most rugged tent, but it's not cheaply made either. Now, as far as weather resistance goes, I've had it in some pretty severe wind. It does all right. You definitely need those stakes in there. And as far as rain, this is one of the features I'm not super thrilled with, is that when you open the door to get in and out of the tent while it's raining, you're just getting rained on. There's no you can't get into the vestibule and kind of zip it. There's no vestibule if this is open. So that's kind of a downside. And the other thing I've noticed too is that when it does rain, it gets saturated. The water doesn't necessarily get through the rain fly, but it gets very, very waterlogged. So you do have to air it out, dry it out the next day. But because it's such a lightweight tent, it actually does air out fairly quickly. Now, in terms of overall value, this is kind of a tricky one because this tent is definitely not for everyone. It is for very minimal, very lightweight. You're paying for that pack size, and of course Nemo makes some excellent gear. For me, this is definitely a worthwhile investment. Now, I actually traded with a friend of mine, Cody, so I didn't buy this tent new. I traded with a friend of mine, but I would say it is absolutely worth the money. Like I said, though, the Kelty is also a great option, and for most people, it's probably going to be your better option. But this is, if you're looking to go really, really lightweight, it's totally worth the money, and you're not going to find anything better than that any cheaper or really at all. So that's it. That's kind of my review of the Nemo Hornet UL2. I will leave a link in the description box down below if you guys want to check it out. That's it from me today. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't already. That way you don't miss anything whenever I post something new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.